few months ago, I got foundation wiped by a group that really exposed a weakness in my existing main base design. I went back to the drawing board and redesigned my main base to better deal with the 20 plus deep zergs I was now finding in the SEA region. This wipe, I was living on the edge of 4 warring zergs, and while they were all distracted with each other, I got into some serious shenanigans that landed me on all of their hit lists. I wanted to put this base to the test, and to do that I needed a spot in the deep snow, so I spawned in and ran there straight away. Hello all, we are back, and I have a new base design I want to test out. The plan's to go sticky in the deep snow, and if we survive about the first 5 hours until all the zergs start fighting each other, we should be able to slip under the radar in the short term to be able to get this thing up. So that's the plan. We're going outpost, getting a rev, and we're going straight to the snow. Oh, that's a sign. I don't think I've ever seen a horse that close to spawn beach before. Just want to say before we get into it, thanks for everyone who subscribed. We hit 10,000 subscribers on the last video. I didn't actually think I'd ever get there, but we're here. So if you like solo content, you're not subscribed, subscribe. I have a big video planned for that 10k subs, which will be happening next month. But for now, to the outpost. That's what I'm talking about, a horse upgrade, a black thoroughbred. We're going to be pretty far ahead of the pack. I'm gonna park and try hide my horse, grab this cloth and quickly chuck a bag down outside of outpost. We'll recycle, get this rev and then start heading inland. Nice, let's get this rev and get going. Wow, yeah, I really did get a head start and I'm going to need it. I don't want to overcommit to that. The worst thing that can happen to me right now is I die. I need to get to this build spot. It's not going to be available for very long. Oh my god, look how many people in that freaking tree. We're almost there. I'm going to put a starter on the edge of the ice lake and then sort out main base after that. The good thing about my main base is the starter can actually just be used as a starter and not evolve into the base. So I'm just going to put like the starter version of it here. And we might move it later depending on what happens. It'll be somewhere along this cliff. But for now, I think we'll just take over this part and go from there. I now had a starter down in what was likely going to be one of the most contested parts of the map. I was next to military tunnels in the deepest part of the snow, surrounded in every direction by nodes. I did also plan to put down a 2x1 on the ice lake to be used as a bait base, but for now I wanted to try and make the most of having this revolver while everyone was still likely on bows. This rev outguns everyone probably at this point, so I'm going to try and farm some people instead of some nodes first, but we'll see how we go. Oh my god, that's a lot of people. MP5. He must have got that off the first scientist that they killed out front of military tunnels. I have dodged a bullet there, literally. We'll keep looking around for fights, but like I said, you don't get like small groups on these servers very often. It's usually just massive groups everywhere and the odd solo who's stupid enough to build in the snow like me, but we'll keep trying. Well, actually, this guy here, it's a bit risky, but why not? Seeing as the whole rev room hasn't quite gone to plan, we'll just get a little bit of farming out of the way while we can before all of these zergs are like running around with an AK. I want to try get that 2x1 down quickly as well. I don't want attention drawn to the base on the hill. I want it all drawn to the 2x1. It's just going to be a lightning rod for Clan Fury after the things I'm going to do to him. It's getting dark. This is the first night in the snow, and normally I'm not far progressed by this point, so that is a good sign. Even though we lost that rev, it's still looking up. Alright, when the sun goes up, I think we'll go for a quick lap and just see who is around us. Oh my god. How many of them are there? There's like guys building the base as well. That's like 10 at least. I can already sense my first victims. The issue is though, we need this 2x1 down before we piss them off too much, because if they follow me back I want them to raid that. Free arrows, thanks for the donation. It's kind of concerning. I'm going to do it anyway because there is something wrong with me, but if I build up that base where I want my main base, our roofs are going to see each other and it's going to be hell. But I feel like they're exploitable. The groups of that size, they just don't really pay attention to, like, you know, solos getting up to no good, which is what I'll do to them. But for now, I'm going to put a few bags down, try get away with a recycler and do this 2x1. Probably the only time I'm actually going to be able to use this. What? I was around the corner. Oh, good old SEA ping. While my progression in regards to my farm was going well, it was apparent I'd built amongst the Prim Gods and a pretty big Zerg all in the same grid. Now I really get up to no good annoying this Zerg, but for now I needed a 2x1 base to be used as a lightning rod for when I face the consequences of my actions. I've waited for dark to do this because it's so close to that Zerg, but it's time to put my little bait base down. There's a guy right there. His little footsteps are showing up in the dark. I almost lost my 2x1 before I even put it down. What the timing on that? I have a feeling this little 2x1 is going to see more rockets than probably my main base is what. Alright, nice. So I want to go have a look at their base layout in the dark where they're building it, so I can see like the best ways to exploit it, because I am going to be jumping into that compound pretty much every night cycle. Pretty standard footprint, to be honest. They do have mill tons, but it should be a while before they get turrets. So I reckon we can steal a lot from these guys. Oh my god, look how many of them are in there. That is insane. This is a lot worse than I thought. Oh, this is going to be hard, but I'm up for the challenge. Just surviving against that, let alone getting one up on them, is going to be a mission. But luckily, it's not my first rodeo when it comes to living next to a 15 deep Zerg, so we'll try to see what we can get away with. Kind of funny, as soon as I seen how many people were in that base, I went straight to the honeycomb. They're like out full roaming, probably trying to push people out of the area, maybe find some early raid targets. When the sun goes down, should have their fernies up by then. It'll be about 40 minutes. I'm going to try to jump into the compound and see what we can get. No, I whiffed the jump. I did it the first time. That is exploitable as hell. I will be back. I now truly knew the depth of the zerg I was living next to. I went through the recording and counted 12 people so far, and that wasn't counting the guys in the core that I could hear. I was certain these guys were at least 15 deep, possibly more. Now I already had my hands full with these guys, but challenge number 2 appeared very quickly after it. But I've been in these situations before, and I knew exactly how to exploit it. Holy Jesus. This isn't the same group. Kuta clan. I guess that's a tag. I haven't heard of that one before. Let's go have a look at where they live. I don't think they're as deep as the other guys, but there's at least 10 of them still, which is a lot and a problem. I think this situation is actually manageable. I need like clothing and kits and farmer, all of that sort of stuff. And if you look at the map, their 2 bases are straight across from each other and I'm in the middle. And the monuments they'll be fighting over are between them. They're going to be concerned with each other. They probably don't care too much what I'm up to. So I'm going to put bags all through the area between them and a 1x1 and just human vacuum all of their kits that they forget to pick up. And also try and jump into their compounds and get my farm that way, because we do probably need to start on this main base sometime today. So that's the plan. Alrighty, I'll put a 1x1 down right next to supermarket. I'm just going to recycle, get some cloth, bag up this whole area, and then it's just a matter of waiting for the first fight to kick off, which I assume will be very soon. They'll all be interested in like trying to control the area, as they say. There it is, I couldn't have said any sooner, it's kicking off. This is my time. Oh, there we go, clothing. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like a little scavenger. You see that little dodge? It's like Neo from the Matrix. It's that little zergling that they've sent over to like clean up all the scraps, but there's a pecking order to the scavenger hierarchy, and he's below me. Nice. I pretty much have nothing at this point. Clothing, bone knives, everything to me. Like their scraps is valuable to me at this point. 2 stacks of arrows as well. Yes, hit me. Do it. Oh my god. I know what gun I'm gonna get shot at from their roof by. have to follow the vendor for a little bit, but we got a free crossbow. My antics had already begun, and the travelling vendor play was just the warm-up. Groups of this size can get very complacent, and I was going to go put that theory to the test. Alright, I'm going to run this first load of loot from my 1x1 to my main base, and then, with what's left in the dark, go inspect their base some more. Thanks for the farm. I could have stayed, but... Oh, look at that anyway, they're on the roof. I'm glad I didn't stay. It's good not to be greedy. I would have been dead. I think they're out on a grub hunting exercise, probably trying to see who just stole their farm. I guess they found who they're looking for. I'm gonna go put some externals up on this 2x1 and move the loot into the externals. It might just be a matter of time before they raid it. In all honesty, I'm probably going to put 3 of these externals on this starter. We'll move the farm into the externals and then build a couple stash bases and eventually just split the loot. So if I do get raided, it's not that big of a deal. And then probably by the end of today, wipe day, we'll get started on the main base. But for now, I'm having too much fun annoying the zergs. Right, nice, it worked. I can't really use these externals on my main base. It's just like a temporary starter thing. It's hard to explain, but obviously you can't put sulfur in them, but you can put everything else in it, which is where all their metal will be going. I felt a lot safer now knowing I had an external down, and all the metal I was stealing from my neighbour, I moved into it. I took a bit of time to run around the map, and I did find a few more big bases. They weren't an immediate threat yet, although our paths do cross. You know that saying, there's always a bigger fish in the sea? Well, my neighbours were about to find that out the hard way, but it wasn't the last we see of them. I think my neighbours are getting raided. I really don't know what's going on. There's a double fob. My best guess is someone's fobbed here to raid my neighbours, and then someone's fobbed on the raiders and took the raid over, but my neighbours still seem to be kicking, so we'll have to come back and actually have a look at the fallout of this. I don't really know what's happened. $1,000 sulfur, what? I'll try to get this back to base, and then when it dies down I'll come back and have a bit of a look. I think that I can still hear them opening doors. They've either won it or partially won it. But I don't, by the sounds of it, they're like still in control to some degree. It does buy me a little bit of time though, because they will have to rebuild a bit, which is good. Is that another raid? Interesting. This is this Kuda clan, and I think they're being raided by Zerg 4, and then Zerg, I don't know the number, raided the other Zerg I'm living next to. It's all like war. They're carving out their territory at the moment, and once the dust settles, then we're in trouble. But for now, it might buy us a little bit of time to actually get this main base started. Yeah, wow, this Zerg down south that I haven't had a whole lot to do with yet, they are deep, like deep, deep. This is actually kind of crazy. There is another raid. There are 3 major raids going on around me. And the problem with this is the guys that are being raided are my insulators. You know, like they need to be raided before someone gets to me, but they're kind of all going, which is a bit of a problem. Kick them while they're down. There were a lot of moving parts to the territory being carved out in the snow at this time. I did a bit of a run around, got some intel, and actually managed to figure out the fallout of the initial Zerg battle. They were all carving out territory for themselves, and I'm just going to illustrate it on a map because it's easier to show it than to explain it. Zerg 3 had taken out Zerg 2, and Zerg 4 had taken out Zerg 1. My neighbours did get raided, and they didn't completely quit, but some of them do log out for the day, and they rebuild at diminished numbers. What this showed me was the 2 biggest Zergs on the servers were not exactly my direct neighbour, but they weren't that far away. It was a matter of time before they ate up all of my neighbours in the snow and tried to have a go at me. And if that happens, I wanted to be fully prepared sitting on the top of my new base. I put some more externals down on my starter and started preparing for my main base build while I still had some time. So my neighbours have been raided, they're probably on the rebuild, but I could be next, so admire this work of art. The frick, where did that 2x1 come from? How did I not see that get built? I think there's a bit more to this 2x1. It's not your normal 2x1, it's full sheet. It's come out of nowhere, it's hidden in a defilade. And the only people that would build it would be my neighbours, like that's between me and them, it's really it. I have a feeling they've ran loot over here in the middle of a raid, or they've put a rebuild stuff in there, or farm, I don't know. I'm going to raid that before I go to sleep tonight. I have a feeling that might be loaded. That starter I put down at the start of the day, it's going to be such a tight fit, I don't know if I can get the external near the cliff. I'm going to put just another TC here, and if I can't fit it over there, I'll build here. Pretty much the same spot, same cliff, but it should work. That is a scout if I've ever seen it. Some clan dude's probably doing laps in the heli, writing down bases to raid tonight when everyone's asleep. Alright, it is time to raid that 2x1. Been hitting some nodes. I'm very curious what is in there. I knew it! It's like some little flank rebuild base. 3 AKs! There's 3 AKs in here. It's like half of inventory metal as well. That is massive. Dude, this grubbing and raidings work perfectly. I must have like a box of metal at this point from grubbing and just raiding. It's a perfect... I don't have to farm anything for the main base, really. Wipe day had gone better than expected. I now had a couple AK kits and most of the farm I needed to at least start building my main base. I decided to stay up longer than I anticipated as I didn't want to log out with all this farm I'd accrued during the day. It was time to do part 1 of the main base build. I'm going to go with plan B, the second spot I was going to put main base. It's on the same cliff, but I think it'll fit better. And I'm actually going to walk through a bit about what I'm doing with this base. Regular viewers have followed my base journey for a while now, and I'm going to explain some of the logic behind my changes. And yeah, let's do it. This core design is just really good, and on my channel, in my old build video, it's the same core. So if you want to copy the core, it's there, but it changes a lot after the core. The problem with the old design I found was once you get a group big enough, like more than 10 and there's like 5 or 6 guys on a launcher, if they pummel the side of your base, they eventually break the battery in the core or the one on the shooting floor. So the batteries aren't in the core of the base anymore, they're moved outside. And then the lower level compound stuff, once someone got control of the roof, they could look down at you. So I've moved all of the compound stuff up to the 3rd floor, and now there's retake rooms in the 3rd floor. You'll see it when we get there, but that's the major change. The footprint of this base was pretty much done with the exception of a few barricades. Now I still had some farm left over to actually finish this base off, but it needed time to smelt, and another thing I was going to need were auto turrets, at least 12. So while my metal was smelting, I headed over and started to counter the military tunnel runs the rebuilding Zerg was doing. I really needed to progress on this base as I felt very vulnerable, and I started to notice the big southern Zerg getting closer and closer to my base. One of the biggest factors in defending raids as a solo is auto turrets, and they're actually kind of hard to get on your own on these servers. So I'm next to military tunnels to make use of it. We're going to run it ourselves and counter it as much as I can because I need my turrets and I need them quickly. Come on, treasure. Oh, C4. HLMG. I never normally get anything good from Miltons. This is a nice change. I'm at a HLMG and 3 AKs already. I pretty much have my raid defense guns. Just gonna do some base stuff and then wait for the next one to come up and go do that. It's already being taken by that Zerg that's rebuilding, but I'm going to try and sneak in and steal it. That's 2 mil-ton runs now, but I haven't got anything for auto turrets, but hopefully that changes soon. I'm going to smash out one more quick farm run during the night, and I think we're pretty much good to go on finishing this base. What is he doing out here? It's like the middle of the night in the middle of the snow. Nice, we have a lot of farm. That's the guy I killed with the python really far down south. I'm pretty sure he's with that massive zerg. That's concerning. They know where I live. Oh, that has to be another one. Oh, I'm so screwed now. My guess was in fact correct. I'd been keeping a spreadsheet as the wipe went on of who belonged to which group, and Hai and this Asian character guy were a part of the mega zerg that was living down south. I had a lot of enemies at this point, the 2 rebuilding zergs and the big group down south that had followed me home and now knew where I lived. I really needed to get onto finishing this base and using up my farm before any of these groups decided to come take from me what I took from them. Alright, the plan. With this farm, I'm just going to finish off the main shell, and we'll add doors and honeycomb later as we get the farm, but let's get on it. I think 2 or 3 videos ago, I got slammed by a massive zerg who actually knew my base design because they'd seen the video and they knew where to hit the battery. Now, I've never built this base before. It's not on YouTube anywhere. It's one of a kind. I designed it and I'm going to move my batteries around. So this time around, hopefully, it withstands these big zerg raids, even if it gets recognized. Nice, it's coming together. Pretty much just got the roof to do now and we're done, but this center part will be an open core, and these rooms on the edge are like retakes from a higher level, and there's grenade funnels down as well. I think this is the biggest change, and I think it's the change that will make the most difference, but we're only going to find out when someone slams the base. Alrighty, this is looking pretty good. It's like pretty much done, the shell is anyway. I'd need to do some door frames and doors, and as I get more farm, I'll honeycomb, I'll just do farm runs at night and stuff, but for the most part, it is done. And it's looking good. Doors are on, embrasures are done. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I've got 3 auto turrets I've managed to collect since start a wipe. We'll put them down, but I just need to watch them. The main shell of the base was completed largely because of most of the farm I'd stolen from all of the groups around me. I did some further base stuff, auto turrets, lockers, honeycombing, and then turned my attention back to the Zergs. Killing the Zergs for farm, kits, and countering their military tunnel runs have been working well so far, so I see no reason to stop. This is interesting. This base has gotten quite a bit bigger. They used to live there to the right. That was the base I ran into at the start of Wipe. They've moved down into the water, which is actually closer to my main base, but we should give it a bit of an inspection. All my grub instincts are kicking in. Their left-hand turret's off. Oh, they didn't do the wood for their filters. Well, if I die in the shallows, I should be okay. Bodies are like hard to see in the shallows. It's my wood from my forest. Surely it's one of them. I just wanted to check their progression. I wanted to see how far away they were from being a threat. Yep, it's definitely them. They all know where I live now. But how kind of him, he brought me back my handmaids. They must hate me. They might end up foundation wiping me at this point. Another one. That's kind of funny. They've got like a little squad doing it now. I was in fine form and was being an absolute nuisance and wreaking havoc to every group around me. One group I wanted more information on though was the big Zerg to the south. I headed over to poke around and I noticed something I could potentially exploit. I figured if I annoy everyone enough, someone was bound to stress test this base. That's... their little industrial network, I think, connects their starter and their main base, and it's wooden doors. Like, I might be able to break in there and siphon loot from them. Possibly. We'll see. Let's investigate some more. Absolute amateur mistake. Where's your car garage? This is what peak rap performance looks like. Damn, I think the camper needs a service as well. Well, I'll give them credit where credit's due. They at least emptied their cars. I'm gonna come back when it's dark. I'm gonna try stealth break into one of these industrial piping rooms and we'll see if we can like hook into their looting system and steal anything. It's hard to say how to actually break into this at all. It might not even be possible. They could have air-gapped either end of the transport system, but we'll pretty much take one of these one-by-ones over and hope that they don't notice. I do think I understand what they're doing here. My molly broke the adapter, but I don't think that's the important one. I think that's the like send from main base to starter. But we can do another one later, and now that I see how it's laid out, I might actually bring back a charged battery and a conveyor and see if I can suck. So we'll just put a bag in here and watch this one for now, and then we'll get the second one after. Now we wait. Oh my god. He's right there. They know that something's not right. We need to quickly take the second one over, and even if they've disconnected it, I should still be able to suck with the conveyor. Alright, nice. It's still all intact. They might not actually know. He might, because they're key locks. He might just think like a friend's taken it or something. But I bought fire arrows this time so we don't break the storage adapter with a molly. And it'll be interesting to see what we get. And hopefully I don't get found. Another thing that just occurred to me as well, he's just run past this, and he's got priv on it possibly. He might not suspect this one's been taken over. They might try to get the other one back and forget about this one. So I'm just going to try and lay as low as possible, and try a few configurations here to see if I can suck something out. I don't know, it all depends how they've set it up the other end, but it's worth a shot. Alright, we'll try this first. I think this is the circuit going out to the starter from the main base. If we break it and go straight to my box, it should be feeding loot into my box they send from main. Damn, even with or without filters, nothing's coming. That means that they've air-gapped the other end in the main base, which is kind of smart, but we'll try from the starter. I don't have TC anymore on the other one. They must have taken it back over, but I think they've just realised that I have control of this one, so we've got to quickly hook this up and see if anything comes out. Maybe they don't know. He just ran past though, like... Oh, they know. I'm gonna quickly break the other circuit and just check. Yeah, damn, nothing's coming out. Freaking Yoko wouldn't go off. It was worth a shot. Oh, he started sheet metal dooring and stoning him up. Without boring people on the finer details to Rust automation, it's hard to siphon loot off of existing automation circuit with a conveyor if they have conveyors as well. The best approach is to break the circuit and funnel it straight into a box, which is what I did going both ways. But they were onto it pretty quick. They probably would realise nothing was going back or forth. But it's worth a shot, you know. If I had my time again, I would have done that a little differently and not broken the first adapter with my molly, but you live and you learn. They know who's done it now, though. I didn't expect him to raid him back that quick. It's pretty funny, though. Oh no. He's from the southern Zerg. The Zerg I was trying to siphon loot off had just sent me a message that they knew exactly where I lived. The base was in a decent spot, but I still needed a few more things to complete it, and that was a HQM core and some automation. I've been playing these servers a while, and when I start to get the imminent feeling that a raid's coming, it's usually not too far off. So I set about finishing off this base and getting that HQM. Alrighty, I've got my little open core going on here. It's not like a fancy open core, it's just, you know, open, it's a core, and there's boxes everywhere. I'll put garage doors down, but we're going to automate this whole thing so I can just drop loot in my guard hut and have it all come up here. Alright, this is looking pretty much done. We'll go down and give it a test. Now if I dump this inventory into this little guard hut box, it should all go upstairs. Nice, it's all working. Got a few more things to add to the filters, but this is good. Oh, look at it. This is pretty cool, I must admit. It actually looks nice. I just have to do some kits in the guard huts and the base is pretty much done. With the exception of some high qual, which I'm going to get now. HQM quarry's like down the coast, but I can snowmobile there really easy and I can run 3 at night, and I've been obviously getting them from Nilton, so this should be pretty easy, to be honest. Wait, what? There's free 250 high qual. I'll go turn 1 on and go back to base with this. That's actually really good. I really need that. That's not me, is it? Oh, it's my neighbor getting slammed. If they do get raided, that's my last insulator gone out here. It's just like me in this whole corner of the snow that's left. My neighbours do in fact lose this raid, and that was the last base left between me and essentially the rest of the map. Me depositing this HQM into this box is the last calm moment before the storm. Interesting. Guess old mate succumbed to the weather, but I don't know this name. I don't know this one either, but I might just add him to the list of people who've scouted me in the last 4 hours. That's my starter. Oh, I timed that well. As soon as I heard that suppressor going off and they were distracted, I got the seal off. I don't know why they went for the starter. Maybe they thought it was loaded, but it looks like it's gonna survive another day. It had begun. My starter had been hit, and I killed one of the counters, stashed his kit in my rat shack, and they were not happy about it. Oh my god, there's a lot of them up there. I thought I'd be able to like make a play. What was the point of that? They've just double rocketed it and PvP rocketed me. It's like 4 rockets used on that thing. We didn't even let the satchel go off. This area is insane right now. That's that huge southern zerg and they're just raiding bases along the coastline. There are so many of them. You need to bring a full zerg for a 2x2. That's insane. They are like ants. Like, look how many of them there are. While my area was relatively clear of bases, I did military tunnels over and over and over and over again to stock up on guns and auto turrets for my raid defense kits. I'd been a menace for 4 straight days, and the raids were getting closer and closer to my main base. It was just a matter of time before one of my enemies came knocking. I'm loving getting away with these free military tunnel runs. There's no one around me to counter. There's like bases, some shells and some decaying things that are being raided through the night or in the morning. But it's just me on that cliff, holding down military tunnels. Is that a fog? Oh my god, that thing's taller than my base. Yeah, that ain't happening. Are they out of boom? I haven't actually heard them shoot like a proper rocket for a little bit now. I wonder if they've come underprepared. This base is like deceptively strong. There's a lot of auto turrets, and with the honeycomb it's quite a few rockets to core, but we'll clean up the mess and have a look. They've kind of just like packed up and left. Are they getting raided maybe? I don't know. They put a big hole in this base and took out a lot of auto turrets, but I'm gonna fix this base up and just prepare for like a round 2. Something's not right here. Yeah, they've definitely done some damage. I'm gonna run around and try to fix it all up, and I'll need to do like a quick farm run to get a bit more like seal material stuff. That's really faint. Is that me? They're actually back. sure this is a pretty close raid. I think they've taken out all of my front side auto turrets, so there's nothing protecting these breaches. Oh my god, it's a graveyard. This is a raid. I think I might have them though. I reckon they're at a boom.
Once upon anything.